Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Michael Bociurkiw here, Global Affairs Analyst and Senior Fellow of the Atlantic Council. It is now March 15th here in Lviv, Ukraine. Curfew has just started. It's around 10 p.m. And also, it is hard to believe it is the 20th day since hostilities, since the war began in Ukraine. That's almost 3 weeks. Lots to talk about, but I'll try to just keep the highlights in this short video update. There was some progress today on the humanitarian front in terms of cars leaving Mariupol. Also, it's believed that talks resumed, video link talks between the Russian and Ukrainian side. And also, what was quite extraordinary today was the prime ministers of Poland, Slovenia, and the Czech Republic all arrived in Kyiv today. They took the train to come into Kyiv, which is a brave thing to do. Some might say insane, given the level of violence of shelling happening from the Russian side, but they did it. There's a photo now, or images of them now in Kyiv, studying the situation. And also, the other kind of unexpected visitor to here in Lviv in Ukraine was David Beasley, the chief of the World Food Program. Now, of course, Mr. Beasley is a very brave man. He's showing up in Yemen and Afghanistan, Lebanon and elsewhere, right when things happen. And former governor of South Dakota, I believe. I better be careful with that. But anyway, he is one of the most admirable, I think, humanitarian leaders. And, with the group of leaders in Kyiv, Mr. Beasley here in Lviv, it goes to show you that these types of visits can happen. They're very, very important in terms of sending a signal of solidarity and support to the Ukrainian people. And also, of course, for the obvious reasons that they help educate leaders of what's going on here on the ground. So I'm not going to name any names, but there should be people who should be here, who are in positions of authority and leadership, but they're not here. So I will leave that at that.
If someone think it's the war right now just in Ukraine, is not true. It can touch anyone to European continent, in a European country. In this war can touch anyone, everyone in the world, all together. Political pressure, financial pressure, all pressure to the Russian president, to Russia. It's very important. Right now, the unity around Ukraine is the key to bring the freedom to our country.
On the other fronts, of course, lots of concern right now about heavy Russian bombardment of the Kyiv suburbs. Obolon was badly hit, including quite a big apartment building where diplomats used to live, including an ambassador. A subway station was damaged, so that's out of action for the time being. And then, of course, what we're all looking at in the next 24 hours is Mr. Zelensky will be addressing a joint sitting of the House and Senate in Washington, D.C., obviously by video link. And it's expected that he'll repeat his pleas to the West, especially to the United States, for establishing a no-fly zone over Ukraine and or for those MiG jets that Poland has offered but requires the involvement of the United States, and the U.S. has basically said no. So the point I made on BBC News today is it seems that, yes, the West is still very afraid of Mr. Putin. They're afraid of, getting involved in a tango with him that is essentially getting involved in a conflict with the nuclear power. But, the argument I made is if countries give lethal weaponry to Ukraine, what's the difference of providing these fighter jets? And it seems that a lot of what Mr. Putin says seems to continue to scare the West, including if you're going to, impose sanctions on us, it's going to be a declaration of war. So finally, I made the point that better for the West to wake up now and make a bold decision to defend Ukraine and, this part of Europe, rather than having to do it later on Mr. Putin's terms, because I'm still pretty convinced that he will not stop at Ukraine's borders. He's intent on redrawing the security architecture of this part of Europe. So on that note, thank you very much for listening. Please look at my daily updates on my blog, michaelbociurkiw.com/news. And of course, stay safe, and do recommend these videos, these updates to others as well. I like doing them. I think it's very important, and I will bring you the freshest kind of news and analysis I can in the conditions we have here right now. Thank you very much. Michael Bociurkiw, talking to you on this March 15th from Lviv, Ukraine.